What's up guys, Trent from Rōst Coffee here. Today I'm going to be walking you through 3 of our signature drinks, the brown butter, the Goldie Hawn, and the Cubano. What it takes to make those, what we put into those, and kind of the backstory behind some of those drinks, so follow me. That's so stupid, I'm going to do it again. So the first drink we're going to start with is our brown butter latte. Brown butter is probably one of our most popular signature drinks, and simply put, it is a Kerrygold butter and brown sugar latte. Essentially, it is our version of a caramel latte. Rather than having like an artificial caramel that is up here or a flavored syrup, we just try to build it a little bit more authentically. So that's where the brown sugar and the Kerrygold butter comes into play. So let's get started. First thing you want to start with is your mug, and we use Kerrygold butter. We actually just do probably about a teaspoon of butter, and I put that straight in the bottom of the mug because, like I said, when I pull the shot of espresso, I want to use the heat of that espresso to dilute that butter and the brown sugar. That way it mixes into the drink really, really well. The next thing we do is about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And the main ingredient, our espresso. If you don't know this, we actually use a single origin espresso. It is our natural process Brazil that you can buy right on the shelf. That doubles as our house espresso. It's super balanced. It holds up really, really well in milk, even with a flavored drink. So when you drink a brown butter latte or our Goldie Hawn or something that has some flavor into it, you can still taste the espresso. It's dialed in that way on purpose. So that way you can really enjoy the coffee flavor as well as the caramel flavor or the honey or vanilla flavor. The next thing we're going to do is get our espresso dialed in and ready to go, using about an 18.5 gram shot for our 12-ounce mug. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that shot of espresso straight over those 2 ingredients, the butter and the brown sugar. Like I said, I really want those to dilute and really mix well into the base of the latte. While that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and steam my milk. Milk temperature is very important. We're looking for about 155 degrees, 160 max. Anything more than that, you actually start scorching and burning the fats in the milk, and the milk just basically starts tasting like corn. So if you've ever had a latte that is too hot, I call them corn lattes. So once you have the espresso in with those ingredients, we give that a little mix real quick, make sure that's completely diluted and mixed in really, really well. And then the base of the latte goes in. And that is our brown butter latte. So the next drink we're going to make is the Goldie Hawn. The Goldie Hawn has asparagus, a little bit of cardamom, and some anchovies. I'm just joking. So, all right. All right, next up for our signature drinks is the Goldie Hawn. Simply put, the Goldie Hawn is a honey vanilla latte. There's a little bit of a twist on how we build that drink as well, just like all of them. So I'll walk you through the basics of what the Goldie Hawn is. So traditionally, it is a 12 or a 16-ounce latte. So we're going to go ahead and get our espresso ready to go. A little bit of vanilla in the mug. 2 shots of espresso, and I'm going to pull that straight over the vanilla. And then I'm going to get my milk ready to go. And part of the uniqueness of this drink and this build is that we actually put a little bit of, probably about 4 or 5 grams of honey in with the milk. So we've got the honey in with the milk, the espresso straight over the vanilla, and I'm going to go ahead and steam the milk. One reason we put the honey in with the milk is it just gives it another layer and another texture to that milk that makes this drink very, very unique. Quick backstory while I'm steaming this milk of the Goldie Hawn and how it got its name. Years ago, I used to manage a shop, and I did this drink. This was one of my signature drinks, and I just called it a honey vanilla latte. But I had a guy, his name was John, and he came in every single day and got the honey vanilla latte. And one day he was in and he was like, you know what you need to name this drink? And I'm like, what is that? And he said the Goldie Hawn, and I'm like, okay, like the actress? And he's like, yeah. I was like, why? And he said, because when I think of honey and vanilla, I think of the actress Goldie Hawn and her honey-like skin and her vanilla-like hair. And I'm like, that's pretty weird, but you know what? From here on out, this drink is going to be called the Goldie Hawn. So, years and years later, that was probably 12 years ago. Years and years later, the Goldie Hawn is easily one of our most popular drinks here at the shop. So, quick little backstory, just in case you didn't know. So we have our espresso mixed in with the vanilla, our honey mixed in with the milk, and then from there we're going to go ahead and pour our latte. That is the Goldie Hawn, my friends. So the third and final drink that we're gonna do is our Cubano. Our Cubano is a little bit different than a lot of people's. Everybody kind of has their own variation, but quite simply with the Cubano, our version is kind of a twist of a traditional Cuban coffee. Traditionally, Cuban coffee is really strong coffee, espresso-like, really thick, sludgy, like heavy coffee. And a lot of times they'll put like sugar cubes in that and then finish it with cold half and half. So our version is kind of almost a modern version of a traditional Cuban coffee. It's just 2 shots of espresso, a little bit of simple syrup, and then about 4 to 5 ounces of steamed half and half. And the drink, we serve it traditionally hot, and it is a 6-ounce drink, and we can also do an ice variation of it as well. But let's go ahead and get started with the Cubano. All right, we start with the simple syrup in the bottom of the mug, and we're gonna go ahead and get our espresso prepped and ready. Like I said, it gets 2 shots of espresso, and about 3 to 4, depending on how much the half and half expands, 3 to 4 ounces of steamed half and half. So we're gonna go ahead and pull the espresso straight over that simple syrup. Like I said, there's many different variations. If you visit different shops around the country or even around the world, you can probably find a Cubano drink or a Cuban coffee. And everybody kind of has their own interpretation. Like I said, this one is ours. So go ahead and steam our half and half. Little side note, we actually only steam the half and half to about 140 degrees. There's a higher fat content in the half and half. So if you take the half and half too hot, again, you scorch the proteins in that half and half, and it just really, really throws the taste of that drink off. So we're gonna keep that milk right about 140 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and mix our espresso with the simple syrup there. Last step is just to go ahead and pour. And that is our Cubano. Thanks for tuning in for this episode and learning a little bit more about our signature drinks. Make sure you subscribe because we've got a lot more content coming your way here soon. Thanks.